dais presentation.
There we go. Call to order, Town of St. John Board of Zoning Appeals for Monday, June 20th, 2022. We all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sergio, can we do a roll call, please?
Yep. Bob Brolson,
Here.
John Kennedy is not here. Drago Popovic is not here. Brendan Sharon,
Here.
Mark LaRue,
Here.
Attorney Adam Decker,
Here.
Councilman Liaison Brian Blazak,
Present.
and Town Manager Joe Wizawati is not here.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is minutes from May 16th, 2022, from the regular meeting. I don't recall seeing those. Did we get those sent out?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were in that packet.
Okay, we're going to hit ask for a deferral to the next meetings. I didn't get a chance to read them. I have a motion to defer.
I'll second it.
Motion it.
I'll give it a motion to defer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, public hearings, 2022-13 developmental variance from St. John MC 24-462B to construct a 33 by 6,
330.
excuse me, it's been a long day, folks, 336 square feet addition to existing garage, 37 square feet over maximum garage space allowed at 8465 Jennifer Court, St. John. Michael, I pronounce? Ortel, thank you, Mr. Ortel. If you'd please come to the podium and identify yourself and let us know what you got going here.
Well, I'm Michael Ortel, seeking a variance to build an additional 37 square feet over the 1,100 allowed. I'm making the garage 28 by 12. It's a third bay addition to an existing two-car garage.
3,700 over or 37?
37.
Okay. I thought you said 3,700.
I'm sorry, 37 over.
So the existing garage, I'm sorry, okay, I see it's right
two-
there in the front.
two-car
I'm
is the
sorry. Yeah,
existing.
all right. Yep, so you're adding just that little peel off on the side there?
Yes.
Okay. As far as finish and stone, it looks like you've got stonework. You're going to match your existing home as far as the outside materials?
Well, eventually I'm residing it all. When the addition goes on, I'm putting all new siding on the home.
So the answer is yes, you're going to have
Yes,
the same
yes,
siding.
yes, I'm
That's all
sorry.
I want to know.
Yes.
So they're going to match and look aesthetics.
Yes.
Your neighbors are going to complain the way it gets some ugly barn on the side of your house.
Not at
Okay.
all.
Any questions for Mr., I'm going to butcher this all day, so Ortel?
That's correct, yep.
Okay. From the board?
Any reason 37 feet over?
Just, it's for my truck.
Okay,
you
just
know,
for
and I
that
wanted
to
be
fit.
to be able to put a lawnmower in front of it also.
Okay,
So-
gotcha. What's the depth of it?
28,
Okay, yeah, that's about what you need.
unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any encroachment as far as on the lot lines or anything like that we're concerned about?
No.
Sergio, nothing along those lines? Okay. Any other questions from the board?
No, we
No.
didn't get any. We gotta ask for public first. Right?
Yeah, we got to do that.
No, I'm good.
You can have a seat, Mr. Ortel, and we'll get back to you in a second. Do we have anyone here, open the meeting to, for any petitioner, I'm sorry,
For the public.
public hearing on this particular fact? Is anyone here to speak regarding this variance request? Nothing, no one signed in, Brian, over there? No? Sergio, do we have any remonstrances regarding this?
We have not received any remonstration.
Mr. Ortel, if you would step back up to the podium for us. Any other questions from the board?
No.
No, I'm good.
Would anyone like to make a,
I'll make a motion to grant favorable,
that?
okay,
Give me one, too.
This is not, this is the next one.
approval for, to construct a 336 square feet addition to an existing garage at 8465 Jennifer Court. Number one, approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare of the community. This is findings of facts. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property, including in the variance, will not be affected in a substantial adverse manner. And number three, that the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Thank you. You've got a motion. Do I have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Did we make a roll call for that, Sergio, since we only have 3 people, or is that,
No, I think,
we're good on that?
yep,
Okay.
And I said
you have a quorum.
aye for me too.
Yep, okay. You're good to go?
Thank you. Appreciate
Good
it.
luck. Got John here for contingencies. Next on the agenda is 2022-14 developmental variance from St. John MC 24-96 and St. John MC 24-462B and C to construct a 789 square foot detached garage at a height of 22 feet and 9 inches at 10351 Lakeside Court, St. John. John, Tassas? Is John here? Okay. Mr. Decker, what's our next, should we just push him to the next meeting or something since he's not present? Or what do we do with this? Since the petitioner's not,
We make a motion to continue. Or defer, I mean.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, you certainly have the option to continue the matter. As far as the hearing, you can hold the hearing open if you wish to allow the petitioner or any remonstrators that might come forward in the future, if you wanted to do that. It's the burden is on the applicant to establish at this hearing the factual criteria necessary for the approval of a variance of use, and so without that, I think it would be, I mean, you certainly need to consider what may be presented. I mean, the board could also deny that if it was inclined to do that tonight. So you have a range of options
Okay.
at this point.
anyone have any suggestions regarding this? Do you want?
Well, if someone
Defer?
took the time to come here, maybe we should hear them, and then we,
There's no one here though for them.
Well, we didn't call
No,
for
I'm
it.
talking about
We didn't open up
public
to
hearing.
public
We'll open
hearing.
up for public hearing. I mean, do we have to make the decision now, or can we wait to find out? Pardon me. Is there anyone here or remonstrances regarding
You can
this
ask.
topic? We
If
can
you want
ask
to
and then make it,
inquire.
okay.
You can do that.
I'm sorry. We'll open the hearing for any people who are here regarding this particular variance, developmental variance. Is there anyone here regarding that? Okay, any remonstrances, Sergio?
We have not received any remonstration,
Okay.
written remonstration.
So now it's back to the board. We'll close public hearing on this, public portion of it. What's your guys' feelings on this? I think
You had
it
to
could be
make
a
a motion
situation
to
where something
defer.
might come up, so we can defer it, or we can decline it.
I say defer,
Say
because I
defer.
had
Let's
some
hear it
questions.
out.
Okay,
Well,
make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to defer.
I have a second.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
So we'll defer in matter 22-14 development variance at 10351 Lakeside Court, St. John. Next on the agenda, 2022-15 developmental variance from St. John MC 24-555 E, one, to install 2 signs totaling approximately 750 square feet, with 650 square feet over the maximum signage we allow at 103,
101.
excuse me, 10103, thanks, Bob.
Yep.
Earl Drive, St. John, Planet Fitness, St. John Holdings, LLC, Rick Vermont, I can't pronounce names today, thank you. Owner, agent, and James Weisner. Weezer, attorney. Everyone's correcting my speech today. Please step up to the podium.
That's all right.
I've been on conference calls all day today. How are you guys doing?
Good evening. My name is Jim Weezer. I'm the attorney for the project with law offices at 429 West Lincoln Highway in Sherrville. And I have with me Rick Raimondo, who is the principal of the LLC. Let me start real quickly with, just to give you an idea about Rick's involvement here in Northwest Indiana. Rick is currently the owner, or at least the principal and ownership of 8 different Planet Fitnesses throughout Northwest Indiana. Although he's an East Coast guy by birth and by where he lives, but he's been very involved in the community. And I bring that up because we're going to make reference in a few seconds to one particular one that I think has a lot of similarities to the one we're here for this evening. I know when you first look at the petition, there's probably a little bit of shock factor there in the size of the overage that we're seeking. So I have a couple comments on that. First, your sign ordinance in a commercial area, since it doesn't go by front footage, or it's just simply total area is 100 square feet. So when I tell you where Rick's business is going to go, that means 50 feet. There's 2 signs. One's going to be on the west side, one's going to be on the south side. That means a 50-foot sign on each side, and I'm going to show you what that's going to look like as a person that drives by on US 41, because that's the main route. So what Rick's done is they've purchased a lot, and the lot is behind, when I say behind, to the east of and behind the new retail center that went in, that includes Arby's and those businesses that are in that retail center. So the first factor that we have is that the lot itself is partially closed off to US 41 traffic, because it's about half that lot. Would that be about right, Rick? Half the lot, do you think? About half the lot that he purchased is behind that retail building. So it's really critical to him and to the operation of the business that they have signage that folks can see, because it is a destination point. He's had tremendous success with his developments and with the operations. He's got one in Sherrville, one in Highland, Hobart, they're Hammond, they're all around. And it's so critical that you have that signage so people can know where you are. It's one thing to be on the main drag. It'd be one thing if you're sitting right on 41, and he's not. And that's because that was the lot that was available, and it was really important to him and to the continued development of his business that he locate in the St. John community. And that was what was available. So we kind of dig into the factors as to why he needs signage that is as significant as that. And I'll make reference to, and I mentioned this before, we did one in in Portage last year that's very similar to this one. And the reason I say that is it sat back about 825 feet off of US 6 Ridge Road running through Portage. And based on that, and based on where the building was located, the folks in Portage felt that signage over and above what their ordinance required, and they allowed a little bit more than your ordinance does. It was either 150 or 200 square feet, I don't recall. And they allowed that to substantially increase because they knew that there had to be a field, a vision field, that you could see the building and that you could notice the building and that you could locate the building. And the signage is what does it, and that's what's critical. I bring it up because, one, we're sitting back off the main road, off of US 41, and two, the building will be 600 feet from US 41. And I bring that up, and if I might, could I just approach and hand this to you?
Yes.
I have just one exhibit to submit to you, and that's this one here. I'm sorry.
That's-
And if you take a look at that exhibit and compare it to, what was it, the exhibit that was attached to our petition, which is the size we're seeking, that is what the signage would look at if you stood between the center line of US 41 and the edge of the pavement on the east side of 41. That's what that signage would look like. And I would just submit that signage is just simply not enough when a business comes into town and is investing the type of money that Rick's investing in this, which is about a $6.5 to $7 million investment, total investment, that we think that there's a significant hardship that's created, and it creates the practical difficulties that we have to satisfy in the findings of fact, and findings of fact number 3. So for that reason, we believe with the commitment Rick's already demonstrated to the community in terms of payment of all the fees, the fact that he's going to install a sidewalk that the Plan Commission wanted to have in there, things of that nature. He really wants to locate here, but signage is just the critical factor to the attraction of his business and for folks to locate the business. And obviously, the two sides that are significant to his business, being on the east side of 41, is the south side, cars coming up 41 from the south, and the west side facing 41, because you still will be able to see a decent portion of the building. And I would point out one further fact that also works, well, I like to think in our favor to create a hardship and against Rick in doing what he's doing, is that there is a monument sign out there. But if you've seen the monument sign that Alsip Nursery, or Bill Christakis ultimately put up there, the panel that he's allowed to go on is minimal. It's really small. If it was a larger one like Target had or Strachan Van Til's have, so that you could see those, not only see their buildings setting back, but also you can see their monument side from the road, might be a little bit different story. But if you combine the two factors, and that is that the building is partially hidden and sits back, and the monument sign is woefully deficient, but it's the one that was committed many years ago to properties that developed there, we believe that signage that we're seeking and requesting is reasonable. If you look at it and you see what it's going to look like, it's going to be attractive. It's the same signage he uses in every one of his sites. And we've fortunately been successful in 3 or 4 of them in getting variances from the requirements of the ordinances. We did it in Highland, we did it in Portage, we're hopefully going to do it here. That I know we did it in Hammond. And so we think that the combination of those factors leads to at least to the conclusion supporting our case that it's reasonable and necessary to approve a substantial, and I acknowledge, at least in terms of sheer square feet, it's substantial, but in terms of what you need and what needs to be accomplished in order to make that business a viable business that can attract people, we believe that the request we've made is very legitimate and very reasonable, and that it satisfies the 3 statutory criteria and the criteria in your ordinance, and for that reason we're asking for approval. And certainly either Rick or I are here to answer any questions either you or members of the public may have, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Weiser. The first thing I guess a comment I'll make is that we're pretty tight when it comes to signage, I think, around town. Brendan, you were here for the last couple we've done.
Yeah.
And the problem I have with that much square footage, sir, is that then everyone's going to want that size, and we're just going to look like Cherville, Hammond, Portage, the rest of these other towns. We're St. John, we're not these other cities or towns. So I understand the complexity that he has with notice, getting his business seen, but that frontage road that runs along Indianapolis or Wicker Boulevard there is a highly traveled road. I can tell you that. I've lived here for 30 years, and that road, since they put it in, is a bypass for 41. If you're going up and down from Strax down to Alsip, there's a lot of traffic on there. So I think from that point of view, it's fairly visible, that tract of land anyway, in my opinion. And there's, it's a very large entrance into there compared to other locations. So I'm not really inclined to go to that level, but I'll have the rest of the board make their comment on that as well. Does anybody have anything else to say with regards to this request?
Mr. Weiser, what's the dimensions that you're proposing for the south side of the building and the west side? What are those dimensions?
It should be, is it on, it should be
I
on
don't-
there. Let me take a
Just 'cause
look.
the area, it looks like,
Yeah, I don't see any
If
dimensions.
there's something in here, it's kind of hard to read.
yeah, it looks like
Let me
just
take a look.
area.
I thought it was, and I apologize, I thought it was on the drawing
There's something
itself.
there, but it's my old eyes cannot make out what it says, so.
It just says a signage area, it doesn't give like a length and
This is
width.
37, is it 37?
It is 373 square
That's
feet or
the
something.
one we're using, Rick.
Yeah, it's hard to read.
Can you tell?
Can't tell either.
Yeah. Wait a minute, you know.
I guess, what's the distance between the pillars that will,
Wish I had my magnifying glass.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just giving the square footage.
Yeah,
Basically
375.
375 or
Well,
something.
the square
give or
footage,
take.
if we were to be approved for the whole thing, would be 375 on the south side and 375
Yeah,
on the
that's all
west
this
side.
is
That's what
telling.
we're looking for.
Right.
It's gonna be one of those purple, yellow ones,
Yes, sir.
It'll be just like that.
but color-wise, is it, how some of them have yellow and then purple in the middle, like,
It will be purple letters with a gear and the yellow hand or thumb.
but the drive it itself, the background, what color is
backdrop.
it?
Yeah, no, it'll kind of be a gray and a tan.
Okay, because I've seen them where it's like purple, yellow.
No,
and
no, no,
like
this
that,
is very,
Which is kind of,
I hear you loud and clear about looking very nice. It'll have a little bit more of a modern look, but a stone and a brick.
the letters look purple. Is that what you
That's what it
said?
says.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
we are pretty picky on for just the way it is, for the signage around there, I guess, that's your ideal, but what is your minimum you're comfortable with? I mean, I think what Jim showed us with the little Planet Fitness, that does look a little, even though Earl Drive that looks,
Yeah, that would really,
Little
really,
tight.
really hurt us. I know there's a good entrance,
yeah.
and from Earl Drive, it can be seen. And I hear you loud and clear, there's a lot of traffic coming up and down 41, and with widening it, I think there's some opportunities for those drivers to see that sign if it's a little bigger. The 375 was what was suggested by the architect based upon the size of the building and the distance from 41.
Oh, so he's giving me the sight line from
That
Portland
was
Center.
like what they considered optimal. But if the board is not willing to do that, I tell you, anything you guys
Yeah.
can do would really help me.
I'm all for business having success. My father-in-law's got a business, been in town for 75 years. So I like other businesses to be around that long. The one that the town of St. John, it almost looks comical that it's that small. Maybe if we can come with a happy median, 3/4 of that size, maybe, I don't have a problem with that size at all, but sounds like
I do. But
the other
questions I
members have,
two
so maybe
questions.
3/4 of that size.
Two questions. So the sign itself, is it gonna be backlit? What's gonna, is it
Backlit.
backlit? So you're just gonna see the Planet Fitness kind of, when it gets dark, jump out? It's not gonna be lights, floodlights onto the brick or anything?
Yeah, no light show. Just,
Okay.
Very nice backlit letters, LED behind, not
Okay.
extremely bright.
Is there any issue, Sergio, with how many lumens it puts off? That we have to look into that kind of stuff with that?
No.
No? And what can you, I don't know if you have this, you or Mr. Decker have, what we've done before here just recently. I know we had Citgo and Aldi make some similar requests here of late, and I don't recall what we did with that. Do you have any of that information? No?
We have those on file, but we weren't.
We won't have it out. Okay, I'm just thinking, just to kind of be,
Yeah. The information that was previously approved is on file, but we didn't bring those files to
Okay.
this meeting.
all right, I didn't get a chance to review this until I walked in the door here today.
Sergio, off the top of your head, other businesses, other signs, seem like they're like this size or a little smaller, or is it?
So in some situations like this, they have identified a larger main entrance sign and reduced, let's say, a secondary sign. In this case, what he's proposing is 2 signs of similar square footage. So it could be, or might be interpreted as 2 primary entrances, but there could be the idea of possibly reducing one signage as a secondary signage, which would probably be your south exterior elevation, as an identification signage by whatever proportions would fit appropriate within the signage would work. And then looking at what would fit proportion-wise within the space allotted for the primary entrance sign, so.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
That's
South
actually
entrance,
all
you're
that.
closer. You're on Earl Drive, you're closer.
We
You
did that over at the gas station too.
know, you don't, maybe you don't need that big of letters, so.
That might, as you suggested, Bob, was find out a more happy median,
Yeah.
instead of proposing 2 large signs, be more appropriate to
Yes.
the primary entrance versus the secondary identification sign.
So obviously you would want your west sign to be the bigger of the 2. If we go that direction.
Yes.
Yeah, correct. So if that sign, if the board saw fit to make that sign, to grant the request there, certainly we could do something on the south side to reduce that impact, perhaps maybe a 200 square foot or something that would significantly reduce that impact.
I think the overall goal here, though, is to try to reduce the overall, not to keep at 750, but to reduce the overall and give you a bigger sign up front and shift, again, making a little bit more room perhaps for the overall. But
Sure.
Not the 750 being requested. So let's find another number that's more fitting to the area and your surrounding businesses, so that bigger one will be bigger than the 50. I agree that's a little bit puny on that side. But given the fact that the south-facing one really isn't your primary attraction, that the main one in the front of the frontage of the building would be the larger of the 2. Just what size is the thing that we need to come up with, or you all need to let us know what you'd be, I guess, entertain. We could say, no, we're gonna go with 200 as opposed to 750, and what's that gonna look like, you know what I mean? So, that's just from my perspective. I don't know how the other gentlemen feel about this or not, but that's just my feeling on the situation. What do you think, Brandon? Any other comments?
That front sign there is 375, and you guys were looking at 100.
Well, that's
No,
the
you're-
ordinance. The ordinance is 100. That's not what, we didn't come up with that number.
Actually,
so
it's
just so you know.
50.
That was in place well before I sat in this chair. I'm just trying to follow what we've done in the past and be consistent at the end of the day. And that's my job, is to make it so it's consistent and we're not unfair to one group and fair and bend over backwards for somebody else. I'm trying to be kind of down the middle and service everybody and try to keep people happy, especially our residents. And we like the business as well, but our residents are to me, a priority one. So, but we want to have your businesses here as well, and just trying to find something that's going to work for everybody. That makes sense?
Yes, absolutely. Would you be open to 500, like a 300 up front and a 200 on the side?
I still think that's kind of on the large side.
Say those numbers again?
It would be 300 on the front, Bob, and 200 on the side.
500 total instead of
500 total instead of 750.
Yeah.
I think that's still too big compared to what we've got elsewhere. I don't know. I wish I knew the dimensions of the other stuff. I would have thought about it. Would have came and talked to Sergio about this. Yes, sir.
Suggestion.
Please.
I have a suggestion about your sign. Is this logo controlled by corporate? I mean, not
Good point.
corporate, I'm talking Planet Fish, the franchisor.
Yes, absolutely.
Therefore, what I'm sitting here looking at and thinking about is if you shrank the logo, which would shrink the overall size of the sign, would there be a problem with the franchisor? In other words, shrink that Planet Fitness PF logo down to say the size of one row of letters. In other words, put the logo next to the fitness right in front. You see how it's cocked? If where fitness was, you move that PF down to fit next to the
You're
fitness.
saying the overall look of it, not just, that,
No,
yeah,
that's-
yeah.
That's my point.
That might
shrink it.
be, you probably
Shrinking
couldn't do
down the
that, I'm gonna
entire
guess.
sign. Yeah, by shrinking the logo.
It doesn't matter, that's how they shrink it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jason.
So what he's saying is basically change the logo, and I don't know that they would let you.
I don't
guys do
mean
that.
change it, I just mean, yes, it's large, I understand, and you may be controlled by the franchisor, I have no idea. All I'm thinking is shrink the logo down in diameter, down to be the size of one row of letters, fitness.
Oh, I see what he's saying.
It might be possible. They are very, very restrict with regard to sign. I have to get everything approved.
No, I
I
figured that
think-
totally,
I
but,
think it may only save a few square feet, and if the board's looking for more than that,
it was just a suggestion.
Yeah.
That'd be the hill you wanna die on from that point of view.
That might be good. The designers.
Yeah, I don't know that they would let you change the structure of the sign. I mean, quite honestly, it's gonna be, regardless of what you do, it's gonna still have issues with the overall size. You put it all in one row, it's still gonna be a problem, I think. I don't, what do you think, Brendan? You're,
Yeah, I think 100 square foot is extremely small for these buildings. And I know it's our ordinance,
what's
but
the overall square footage of the building, by the way?
I think you gotta take into account what,
18,000.
18,000 square foot. Let's say just the front of it. What's the right to left of the length of the building? Any idea?
I believe it's about 120. I'd have to check.
Okay.
and to Jim's point earlier, I mean, I agree. When you got one building that comes in at 50 feet wide, and they're to 100 square feet, or 100 square feet signs. You got another building that's 200
That's
feet
what I'm trying
wide.
to get at, yeah.
And then you got 41 being 500 feet away. And I know Earl Drive gets plenty of traffic, but, he obviously wants to start pulling people coming in and south,
Oh,
off
I
the
get it,
street.
I get it.
But, I mean, I think for the front, he should get as big as we can get him. I mean, maybe obviously the south, I'm sure you're probably more willing to play,
Yes.
get it tighter to what we want, or what the ordinance wants, not me.
Is there a building in the lot between 41 and yourself? Is there a building there?
There,
I don't think yet, but
There's
Or not
nothing-
yet, or,
To the west, there's nothing in front of them.
Yeah.
there's nothing in front yet, but there will be.
Oh,
There will be.
eventually, yeah.
No, actually, there is.
Yeah, so he's gonna be cut off, by a
Because it's
good chunk
Arby's
of
is
that
over
lot.
here somewhere.
Yeah, if you put back
There's a
the
lot.
original screen with the original building on there, the Planet Fitness,
yeah,
whoever's control, I don't know who's controlling.
Sergio.
because it's almost gonna
Can you
get
put
to a
that back,
point where you
Sergio?
won't be able to see maybe a glimpse of it when you drive by on 41.
Right. Yeah, if, just real quickly, the retail center with Arby's extends over maybe to about here. So it starts from here and then runs to
To the north, yeah.
And then there'll still be something built.
Oh, yeah,
Has it,
eventually something will get there. So, okay. Comments, suggestions, gentlemen?
I'd like to give him the big sign on the front, and maybe it doesn't have to be 350, but 2.
Any other questions for them? We can move out to public. Please have a seat for a second. We're
Okay,
going to see if
thank you.
there's any remonstrances or any of the public that's here to speak on behalf. We'll open up for public comment regarding the Planet Fitness request for their signage. Is anyone here for that? Okay, we'll close public comment on that. Sergio, any remonstrances regarding the signage?
We have not received any remonstration.
Okay, thank you. Gentlemen, if you'd like to step back up again. Any other questions, suggestions? regarding the signage. It's still, if you give them 300, what are you gonna put in the side, Brendan?
What's the current,
250, 150?
Sergio, what's the current size?
Uh,
Or
three-
Stan?
Our current totals,
No, for each sign.
it's 50,
I understand that.
it's, they're proposing 375 for each sign.
Okay. And what's our total sign ordinance?
Our total is 100 square feet,
100, so they're 50
50,
apiece.
not to exceed 50, yep.
That's what I mean, that's what I mean.
Not the square
Yeah,
footage.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I think you gotta have a little more than just 100 square feet. I mean, Arby's can't get what a Target gets, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
It's
it's
silly.
like, what they're proposing is 7.5 times bigger than our ordinance.
That's what I mean. It's, some of these things are silly. You can't have what a, Arby's, there's such a difference in the scale of the building. And so
Mr.
that's-
Decker, can we do something along the lines of, let's just, for example, I'm not putting these, I'm just numbers, easy number for my brain to spit out to Mr. Decker. If we were to do 300 and 100 with the contingencies based on the
The
overall
frontage for the building.
of the building, would that be something that we can do so that it
Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure what your question is about
Okay,
a
so-
contingency based on the frontage.
Well, I think what he's saying is if this is 120 feet wider, that's what they're proposing, that's part of why we're giving him the sign, allowing him to have a bigger sign because of the frontage of the building. So will we make that I don't even know if that we have to, the print is the print.
So basic contingency on the overall size of their building. So if that building were to be sold to somebody else and they break it up into smaller pieces, the signage would not go with the new resident. So make a contingency to Planet Fitness based on the length of the I don't say frontage, but the facing portion of the building. Let's say it's 120 feet. They can't go larger than that, and it doesn't go with the building after they leave.
Well, let me,
maybe I'm not-
let me try to answer your question by saying this. With a application for a variance from the development standards, as we have here, the board may impose conditions or commitments as part of any approval of that variance. So if you were to consider, for example, that the variance was only applicable to this applicant and would not be permitted if Planet Fitness ceases to occupy or own the building, I believe you could do that. You could impose that condition on the approval of the variance.
So ours,
Or
our
if they shrink
approval
down,
is
if
with,
you make that building smaller, let's say you decide you're taking some machines out, you're gonna make it smaller, that's my,
Oh, I see. If Planet Fitness is no longer occupying the entire building,
Right.
you could impose that condition. I believe you have the legal authority to impose
Okay.
that condition to the approval of the
how to phrase
variance.
it.
Okay, that's, now, this is, I don't know if you mentioned this before, maybe you did. Do you own the building, or is this, you will own the building?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
And what we're asking makes sense, if you ever sell it or get rid of it or subdivide it.
We just don't want to
We want them-
continue on, because they could
They can't put
divide that
another
thing up
sign
into
up.
pieces, and then we've got, a huge sign out there that says, Jimmy John's, I'm just.
Which
giving an
hopefully you never do.
example. Right.
Yeah, there are huge obligations on me, and they'll never.
That's it, yeah.
they'll
I wish you
never
the
let
best
that
of
go
luck
to
that we
me,
don't have to ever do it.
Something else. And nothing against Jimmy John's, in fact,
No, I was just,
I tried
that
to eat
popped in my
lunch
mind, so, no, good, I like their sandwiches as well, no offense to them.
Cardinal Studios.
So, anyway, any other questions for the petitioners? If not, will we have a, entertain a,
Well, how are you gonna word it?
But we didn't, and not only that, we didn't even come up with a size yet.
Well, I think you should just can just say that the current build, the size of the current building.
Yeah, but we didn't come up with this size. Are you gonna
Yeah.
get
Oh,
353?
yeah,
We
well,
didn't come
yeah.
up with
Okay.
We didn't
square
even,
footage.
we didn't come up with we didn't get anything.
No,
right.
I'm sorry. I'm jumping the gun here. I thought
So
we already
if
talked
the,
about that.
if the board members are looking to base it on the frontage, 120-foot frontage, building frontage, times 2.5 is 300 square feet, which is 2.5 times the linear feet of the building, which gives them a sense of less than 75 square feet of what's originally being asked. And then whatever.
That last part about what, 75 square feet?
75 square feet of what is initially being asked, so.
More?
It's less.
Less than?
Yes. But you're tying it to, sounds like you want to tie it to the frontage, linear frontage of the building, which is 120.
Right.
At 2.5 times the linear frontage is 300 square feet.
That's exactly what Portage did.
That makes sense. too.
2.5 times the
The linear frontage.
lineal footage. It equals 300 square feet.
I just think that the,
What about the south side?
But that's, to me, that we're trying to base it on that one, that the front, the south side will be a portion of that. Just trying to figure out what would be appropriate for that size. You're looking at 350 there. I'm looking at-
Yeah, the south
know,
side's a
I-
lot longer.
I know, but it's not as, the west side's more important, I'm guessing.
yeah, we're just trying to get.
For sure.
Look at the max on the west side, and the south side, just something that says, Planet Fitness on it. That's a little more appealing than 50 and 50.
I guess it's a 250, 150. Oh, let's see where we can.
I was thinking 250, 100.
Is that something you could be comfortable with?
250.
And I know it's so hard because
Less
you
than
got to go back
150.
to the architecture or designer a little bit, but
Yeah, but
I don't know how you.
50? Can you live with that?
Is that you got 250 in the front, and 100 on the south?
Yeah.
Because you're basically doing, you're giving them 100, what the minimum variance is for the south side, and you're giving 250 for free. Let's
Yeah.
just say.
Yeah.
We'll accept that.
You guys okay with that?
250 and 100?
250 and 100.
Given the size of the building and everything, I mean, we're going still way over. This is gonna come back and bite me in the butt, but
You can say no.
shut up.
Well, then I'm going to make a motion to approve, or can I do that now?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to make a motion to approve Planet Fitness signage based off 250 square foot in the west and 100 square foot to the south.
Ridiculous facts, findings of fact.
Okay, so approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare of the community. The use and the value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantial or adverse manner. The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in a practical difficulty use of the property.
Thank you for the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
If I may,
Yes,
just for
sir.
discussion, do you wish to impose any conditions,
Well, yeah.
as you had discussed earlier, as part of that approval?
Yes, so we want to add in there the following contingencies of the 250 and 100, and then it only stays with Planet Fitness.
Okay, so the following contingencies of the 250, I don't have the print. Is it 120 exactly, or are you just guessing kind of? I don't want to hold you to something, then it's
Oh, I-
122 or 118,
I
you know.
believe so. If,
So with what I have here, I don't know.
if it's 250, 150, and it just stays with Planet, then I don't have to worry about, is it exactly 120? Because it's been it's been a week since I've looked at those dimensions or so.
Right.
So it could be 100. I don't think it is 100. I believe it's 120 by 150. I just got out my calculator, and that comes out to be 100, and that comes out to 18,000 square feet, I believe. I believe that's the.
As far as the building itself you're talking about?
Yeah,
Correct, 120 by 150
Oh, yeah,
deep.
yeah, no, that, we're more
that's-
concerned about the fact that, that's fine. What he's trying to ask is you're asking for the signage?
I would just say it,
No,
I'd
the-
just say
the
it's
linear foot,
okay.
contingent that it stays Planet Fitness.
That, and the building they currently are in doesn't get any, it's the same footprint it is today. I'm not sure how to word that.
This building exists.
Or that it stays Planet Fitness
Well, yeah,
building.
the signage stays the same as it is today, and the same, square footage or the same facade or what have you. I mean, they don't chop it up into 3 different pieces. You follow me in that?
Yeah,
Just
I'll make
put
a
it into
contingent
words.
on the business remaining Planet Fitness as described in the
Is that,
Yeah.
in the
Mr.
petitioner's
Chairman, I would say
presentation, in the
that it
petitioner's
could
finding.
be conditioned upon Planet Fitness, the applicant, occupying the entire
Right.
space in the building as presented to
The board
the
at this
town and to
time.
the board for purposes of this application. I don't know what the square footage is of the building.
yeah,
but
Yeah.
Currently, I believe the applicant is going to occupy the entire space. Is that
That's
correct?
yeah, that's what we want to keep you to. I mean, as far as
Yes.
the signage is concerned. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Decker.
Okay, so I'll make the following contingent upon the applicant occupying the space as presented to the board
Or the entire square footage of the building.
for the square footage of the building. Okay, I'm done.
And the signs will be 250 and 100?
Yeah, well, I said that in the
You
first.
said that.
Go
Okay.
right in as far as contingencies, as far as the size. West facing at 250, south signage at 100 square feet.
100 square foot. South side. Okay,
We good, Mr. Decker? Very
I
good.
am.
Okay, all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Do you need a
We
second?
need a second.
We didn't get a
Did you-
second.
I'm sorry, motion, second, I'm sorry, I'm getting jumbled up here. Make your motion again. Just say, he already made his motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Great.
Motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen,
Okay,
for your
well,
time.
thank
and
you for your
consideration.
time. Really appreciate the work you put into that. Thank you.
Good luck. Is it hot in here or is it just me?
It's a little hot.
My blood pressure like going up here. Okay, next on the agenda. 2022-16 developmental variance, St. John MC 24-95 to allow a lot width of approximately 89 feet in lieu of 100 feet required at 8810 Marquette Street, Cherville, Indiana. Dominic, I'll butcher this name, and Barron's last name, the Barron's here? Or I'm sorry, you the Doug Homeyer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Homeyer. I didn't get that far. I was trying to pronounce, how do you say her first name?
Just say Dominic.
Okay, Dominic Barron.
Mr. and Mrs.
Mr.
Dominic.
and Mrs. Thank you,
Barons.
Bob. And Mr. Homeyer from McMahon Engineers and
Yes.
Architects. Thanks for coming. Okay, so what are we, 80, where are we located here?
We're on Marquette Street, 8810 Marquette Street. The house and garage existing are there, and they want to upgrade the house and that. And with that, the existing parcel as it sits is not a lot of record. So we've gone through the one-lot subdivision process, which we've already obtained primary approval. And we thought we covered the width. We had a favorable recommendation with a waiver for the width, but then we realized after we left that that wasn't the correct way to go. We needed to come back to the BZA for a variance of use because we don't have 100 feet of frontage. We only have about 89 plus or minus feet of frontage. So we're missing by about 11 feet for the existing zoning that's out there. And the existing parcel, as it is a key number existing now, doesn't meet the ordinance. Thus, that's why we're here with the hardship asking for the variance.
So, I guess it doesn't really tell me, what are you gonna be doing with the house?
They're gonna, as far as I know, they're gonna leave the garage there, but tear the house down to the foundation and maybe expand the foundation and put a new house, an updated, nice house there.
Okay.
If you're gonna get street view for us. Okay, well, we can't see too much. Okay.
And possibly, Sergio, maybe you can elaborate more as to what the Barons wanted to do when they came to St. John, and then came to our office saying that for what they wanted to do, they had to go through a one-lot subdivision for what they wanted to do with the house.
It won't go down for some reason.
So currently this parcel is identified as the southern portion of Lot 24 and part of the north portion of Lot 25. At some point in time, this home was constructed on there, and the parcels were or these two lots of record were parceled off at the county, never recognized by the town. This then eventually fell under the jurisdiction of the town, and so the property owner had to create a lot of record, a new lot of record, combining the southern portion of Lot 24 and the northern portion of Lot 25, creating Barron Estates Lot 1. The intent, in speaking with the property owner, is to remove this home and construct a new home on this lot. But according to the current zoning, a maximum or a minimum width of 100 feet lot is required. Unfortunately, at the time that this 24 lot, southern half of Lot 24 and the northern half of Lot 25 was created, they did not meet the 100-foot requirement. And so per our current ordinance, they have to comply or should seek a variance from the Board of Zoning Appeals to allow a lot less than 100 linear feet of frontage.
They didn't meet it back then either?
Correct. It was established at some point without meeting those requirements.
But they weren't in town, were they in town?
We would have to research the history of the property
Yeah.
and the annexation of when that
And
occurred.
the original subdivision, I believe, was done in the 40s.
Okay.
So there might not even been anything to adhere to when that got broken up that way. But now that they want to come through and put a nicer house on it, they fall into the new ordinance and it's not
Right.
grandfathered in.
Right. Do you know what they're proposing to put on the property, the size of home or anything like that?
No, that'll have to come in,
And work through the,
work through a building site plan. This is
Okay.
just strictly for subdivision. So when they do come through, we'll have to do a building site plan that meets everything for them to pull the building permit to make sure that they are within the setbacks that would still imply for this lot. Even though it's not as wide, your side yard setbacks
Still have your
will
8-foot setbacks,
limit you to how wide you can actually
right,
put on there.
right, that's where I was going with that, to find out if you had a plan for that, I guess.
Doug, did you say earlier that you came to the BZA, this lot came to the BZA?
No,
for-
we were in front of the Plan Commission, and we originally filed it with, trying to get that through a waiver. We didn't realize until after we were out the door that Adam said, I don't think that we can do that under a waiver through the Plan Commission. We have to do it through a variance of use through the BZA.
Okay.
Thus, that's, after the approval of the, primary approval of the subdivision, we have to come back for this step.
Okay.
So it appears the home was constructed in 1942. The detached garage was constructed in 1953, and some utility sheds were constructed in the late 70s, based on the assessor's report.
And when do we, St. John annex that part of town?
We'd have to go back and research those
Yeah.
documents. It doesn't
Just
show.
curious if we had it in that document or something that would
Yeah.
tell us. I'm gonna guess it's probably after those dates that you just mentioned. Okay.
Maybe
Any
open-
questions for Doug?
No. I mean, I'm in favorable of putting a nicer house there. I don't know what the residents feel, but
Any questions?
No, but again, like it's not their fault they're stuck with the situation.
Have a seat, Doug, for a second. We'll see if anyone's out here for public comment. We'll open the meeting for public comment regarding this variance. Is anyone here for that? And then we'll close it. Any remonstrances, Sergio?
We did not receive any.
Okay, thank you. Come back up, Doug. Quick turnaround here. Anybody have other questions or have a motion they'd like to present?
No, I'll make a motion to approve it. I'm making a motion to approve, as it will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare of the community. The use and the value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The strict applications of the term of the zone variance will result in practical difficulties in the use of this property.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Question, Mr. Decker, is there any contingency we should put on this since they have to go back to the planning commission or the building site plan folks, right? So that's, anything else would come about as far as other variances would come after that meeting, correct?
Well, nothing that I'm aware of. I believe this is the only variance that would be required
Unless they were to
to-
ask for something that's closer to the lot line or something along those
Well,
lines.
right, that would
Okay.
have to be approved by the board, that, any other additional variances would have
Okay,
to come
I
back.
just wanted to
before the
check, see anything else we got to put in there. Okay, thank
And
you.
there's 10-foot side yards, so you take 89 minus 20, you can get a 69-foot wide house on there. That's
You
pretty
can go as
wide.
deep as you want because you
Yeah.
get a very deep
Because
lot.
this thing's more than past the R1 square footage because of how deep the lot is.
Gotcha.
Right.
So we have a motion, we have a second, all approved?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Good luck. Next on the agenda, new old business 2022-10, use variance from St. John MC 24-342 in sequence to St. John MC 2445 to allow a club, lodge, private, fraternal, or religious in property zone C2 in the US 41 overlay district at 9501 Wicker Avenue, St. John, Indiana, American Legion Post 369, Frank Darrington, Post Commander, owner applicant, Alexander.
Kutanovsky.
I butchered the last time you were here. so-
Kutanovsky, no problem, we got it.
Thank you. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you. So Alex Kutanovsky, 1504 North Main Street, Crown Point. I'm here representing the American Legion Post 369 with regard to its petition tonight. The subject property is 9501 Wicker Avenue. I think the public hearing was opened and closed at the last meeting. What we're seeking is for the American Legion to operate at this location. I believe that the actual zoning of this location would allow the American Legion to occupy without a variance. It's the overlay district that requires us to be here tonight. I will have a couple of the members of the American Legion come up here in a second, just to give the board a better idea what the Legion does, put that in the public record as far as, so the community understands what the Legion is all about. A little bit of the history on the Legion is that it was chartered back in 1919 by the U.S. Congress. It's the largest veteran service organization in the nation. We can go through and discuss some of the findings of fact for the board tonight, and we can do that in more detail, I guess, through some questions. I think that the main issue here is the Legion is looking at this building. It's been a vacant building. They think that the building suits its purposes, not only for its membership, but for its community programs that they want to run out of that location. We do understand that the area is in a developing or commercial area. It just that location, the price for that building, everything kind of meets the check marks for the Legion and its operation, and we're hopeful tonight to gather approval from this board. So if I can bring up Mr. Frank Darrington, just to give you a little bit of an idea of what the Legion does and what activities they would provide here at this location.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Frank Darrington. I live at 8748 Madison Avenue in Munster, Indiana. I am the current commander of American Legion Post 369, formerly of East Chicago. The American Legion, as was already stated, is the largest veteran service organization in the nation. It's composed of men and women that have honorably served or are still serving in the armed forces of our nation, together with their family members through the American Legion Auxiliary and the Sons of the American Legion. Our Legion family embraces all current and former members of the military and endeavors to help them transition back to the community after service. Through selfless service, we inspire others to strengthen our post community and America. The American Legion embodies American values and patriotism. We advocate for upholding and defending the United States Constitution, equal justice, opportunity, youth education, responsible citizenship, and honoring military service by observing and participating in memorial events. Legionnaires and their families are engaged and seek to meet the needs of local community through education and mentoring the next generation of Americans. We honor those that come before us through respect for the past military sacrifices to ensure they are never forgotten to the new generations. Honor, patriotism, protecting the Constitution of the United States, service to fellow veterans, our families, and the community is the inherent result of our common experiences while serving in the nation's armed forces. This common bond between all veterans differentiates the American Legion from other fraternal organizations. There are many veterans in this community that will be served and can serve the American Legion post in St. John. I urge this board to approve this request for a zoning variance and allow the inclusion of American Legion post into the fabric of St. John life. Thank you very much for your consideration and time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your service.
I'm going to bring up one more. Drew, if you want to say some words about there's an auxiliary, the Sons of the Legion, and just, Drew will give us some info on what the Sons do.
Hi, Drew Ziglowitz, 8176 Wicker Avenue. So I've been a member of the Sons of the American Legion for 38 years. My father, Marty, started me off as an infant, and I've been there side by side with the SAL and the auxiliary, the women's portion. But we work side by side with the community, and I think there's nothing that would be detrimental about allowing this to be there. If anything, it would be beneficial to anything in the community, as well as maybe they can be more involved with the events and the memorials you have at Civic Park and so forth. So, kind of like the VFW, but the American Legion, I feel, in my experience, does a little bit more for all the veterans and the veterans' rights. And there isn't really a Legion post around here, and I think it would be a perfect fit for the community here. So, thank you for your time, and I'm also an owner and operator at Ziggy's Funland, so as a business owner in town, I give my approval, and I hope you do too. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So I can dive into any questions the board may have with regard to the location specifically or the request being made here tonight.
Where's the current lodge? Do they have one, or?
No, I think they're looking, this is it, they're looking for a new location. I think the other location, no.
They don't have one at all.
They've been established. The other location wasn't suitable for them any longer, and so this would be a move.
So they're currently don't have a location.
Is that
We've been
accurate?
the Legion post for 75 years. We are looking for a new location.
Where was it at?
Our previous post home, which was not the original site, is expanded, but it was in the East Chicago Legion. And
Okay.
we recently sold it, and we're now considered a paper post looking for a home.
Okay, got it. Sergio, the middle barrier, concrete barrier, does that stop? Is that in front of this unit?
I can pull up. I don't believe it is. I'll double check. Let me pull that up.
And just why I say that there's a concrete median on 41. I'm not sure if it's there or not. Southbound if you wanted to go southbound, there's no median there? Okay,
No, it's, there's a center left-hand turn for both directions.
okay.
Right in front of Dairy Queen over there, yeah.
Center turn lane,
Yes.
suicide lane, okay.
And you're adding to this building, or are you leaving it as is?
I'm sorry.
What are you doing with the building itself, out of curiosity?
The previous building
Yeah.
was is on Chicago
No,
Avenue.
No,
with
the
this
current
I think
building that's on the
There's an
property.
intent to remodel the interior. There's
Oh,
there's
the
no
inter-
plans to expand it at
There's
this
not
point.
expanding, it's
Oh,
just
no,
using.
no, we're not going to be expanding
Okay.
this building. We're going to be adapting the interior.
I was just curious,
It
that's
needs a
actually-
little bit of remodeling and,
Okay.
and some cosmetic work and new windows and things of that nature.
Right. So, Mr. Decker, just be clear, this is a favorable or unfavorable for the town council to decide the next steps of this with these folks, correct?
That's correct. The
Okay.
BZA will be making a recommendation only tonight. That recommendation will
So-
go to the town council
Don't
for
get
final
deep
approval.
into that.
Yeah.
portion. Okay, no, that's fine, that's fine. So,
Just what I guess what I'm saying, getting back to the median wall is, the median barrier to turn south onto 41 from this business. Just be aware, it's difficult or impossible. 'Cause I live on Joliet Street and, you know, thank God now they have that median wall there. So I'm not able to turn south and everyone else is not able to turn south. But,
Yeah, understood. Understood.
any other questions from the board?
no.
We're gonna open for public comment.
I think that was done at the last meeting, so I think that
Did
was,
we do,
that was
but we have new
open.
people here, so I'm not sure everyone was at the last meeting.
No, but
We'd probably need to open it for public comment.
that's true. I do.
Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of this request for variance? Okay, close public comment. At this point, is there any other questions for the gentleman up here, if we want to, or entertain a approval, or favorable or unfavorable, or no recommendation to town council?
I'll make a favorable recommendation to the town council for, use variance, for the lodge, at what is that, ST/MC 24-342,
Let's read the address.
at address 9501 Wicker Avenue for the American Legion Post 369. Findings of facts, approval, will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, or comfort, or general welfare of the community. The use, number two, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantial adverse manner. Number three, the need for the variance will arise from some condition particular, to the property, which is as follows. Number four, the applicant did not, or did establish that the strict applicant of the terms of the zoning ordinance will constitute an unnecessary hardship if applied to the property for which the variance is sought. The petitioner has established that approval does not interfere substantially with the comprehensive plan of the town of St. John.
To a favorable motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, gentlemen. Can I confirm that date and time of the town council meeting?
That, I don't have that information, I'm not
Or
sure.
George, you know?
Mr.
No, not off the top of my head. You can contact the
Town
town
council
manager's
meeting.
office tomorrow.
As soon as the fourth Wednesday of this month.
Okay,
Thank you.
so next week.
And great job coming out in full force.
Thank you all for your service.
And thank you for your service.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, folks. Okay, we're still in a meeting, folks, so please restrain from a whole lot of stuff here. The last bit, we're still conducting a meeting, folks. Public comment, is there anyone here for a public comment? No? And at that point, we'll, yes,
Yes. Mr. Sejas is here, if you want to bring him up.
He's over there,
okay.
to the right.
That's your,
So we're at number,
Item B,
2,
2214.
B, yeah, okay.
2214.
People left.
Maybe, I
Oh.
don't know, we'll see.
They're too bad.
Next on the agenda, we're gonna back up here. Item B, 2022-14 developmental variance for St. John MC 24-96 and St. John MC 469 B and C to construct a 789 square foot detached garage with a height of 22 feet 9.5 inches at 10351 Lakeside Court, St. John. Mr.
Chahas.
Zahas?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Apologize for not being here on time.
Things happen. It's this crazy world today, so we understand. So tell us what you're doing here. This is a huge house to begin with.
Yes. So it's our dream home. We want to make St. John our forever home, and right now I believe everything of the house meets the variance. We're asking for a variance on the garage, the size, the overall, the total garage space, the height, and the detached part.
So where's the proposed detached garage going in, sir? I don't see
See
the.
it here. It's attached by the roof.
Yeah,
Just doesn't share
it's
it.
it's
Oh, so
connected.
it's that building on that
Yeah,
side.
so
Oh,
this
I
is
thought
this
it
got
was-
basically a breezeway going.
Oh,
to it.
gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't follow it, the
Yeah.
prints.
I was
couldn't.
confused too because I thought that was considered attached. That's why.
No, it's got to share a common wall. to be
Common wall, okay.
attached. So breezeway doesn't make it an attached garage.
So
Okay.
it's a detached.
So that
Yes.
would be considered detached.
Okay.
You're gonna have a lot of concrete in this house.
Yeah.
I built quite a few in Lake Hills.
Okay.
Oh, this is Lake Hills?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we actually a year or two ago I stood here in front of the board and we combined two lots in Lake Hills. So right now the house will sit on two lots. It's about 1.4 acres.
Currently it does?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's on a big lot and
It's a huge lot. Let's see page. See how it hooks. So this is a breezeway. It's a garage, breezeway to another garage.
Gotcha.
currently my house is an oversized 2-car garage and we only get 1 car in it. So I don't want to make the same mistake twice. And I'm going to have, me and my wife are drivers. I'm going to have 3 more drivers soon, and yeah.
Preaching to the choir, buddy.
Yeah.
I just don't have the ability to put a big garage like that on my house. So I guess the question is, he's allowed, how much more is he allowed square footage, right? We're over with the 789, Sergio, or is what's the, I guess?
I believe I'm allowed a little over 1,600 square feet based on the property that I have.
Yeah, based on the acreage, he has more than an acre, so he's allowed, anything under an acre is 1,100 square feet, plus anything over an acre, he's allowed an additional 500 and some
So
change
he's
square
got, he's
feet.
got the room for the.
It's got the room, yes, correct.
For the square footage, but it's the height and of the roof we're concerned with here, correct?
To
It's the height of the
construct-
roof and the fact that it's detached is
And
what
it's
we're worried about.
detached. Yeah.
Okay. Detached might be a stretch, I think, I understand it's not a wall, but it's gonna look seamless from that point of view.
Right.
It's not gonna look like,
No,
you
it's,
slap something on there.
no, it's considered detached. It's just.
I know, I get
Like
that.
the letter
I
law.
get that.
So is there, in the front, that's not a building, it's just, because it looks like a building, but on the front view, but then when you look at the plan view, on the front part where the driveway is, it doesn't show like a foundation wall, it just shows concrete. So I'm not sure what, looks like on the front view, there's a building, a wall there, but then you look at the plan view and it doesn't.
What are you talking about?
He's talking about right here.
Point to it, maybe.
This is
Yeah,
the
that'll be- that'll
detached
be all
garage
flat.
here.
More
Oh,
concrete.
that right there?
Oh, okay, there's,
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, there's,
okay, if you,
You're talking between let's say, door number 3 and door number 4, going from left to right.
That's part of the breezeway.
That's-
No, that's what I'm saying. That's
That'll
what-
be-
Yeah,
that's
that's-
what
the
I'm
white
asking.
spaces, okay, that's,
that's gonna be filled in, that's gonna be a slab. Or a covered
This-
porch.
I guess what you're maybe also asking is, what's gonna be in front of that? Is this gonna be an open space?
Oh,
Is it-
open space.
okay,
Yeah,
go up, Sergio.
open space.
See, if you look
Yeah, it has a different appearance there.
It looks like there's a wall there.
It's
Right there.
because it's
Well, that's
a
the way
side
architectural
view.
That's the
plans are drawn.
profile
That's a
of the
profile view.
detached garage.
You can't
That's the
shoot.
exterior wall of the detached garage. This right here.
Oh, this is the angle we're looking
Yeah,
at.
it's the angle where you're
Okay.
looking at it.
Exterior wall. Oh, okay,
That's
gotcha,
the name,
By the
Yeah.
architect and
Yeah.
Okay.
look at drawings like.
There's no
Brendan
way to
does all
draw it
day, so-
differently than that.
Okay. I'm seeing the side of the wall. Gotcha.
Okay. As far as material, I mean, I guess the materials are gonna be the same as what you have on there currently,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And then the height, you're looking at height of approximately 22.95. It's not gonna exceed your current roof line that you have on your other garage.
No, it's gonna be lower.
Okay,
I'm
Yeah, it
sorry, the
shows a little
garage?
bit.
yeah, I can see that.
A little
Yeah,
bit
it's
lower.
gonna be,
It's still below his house. Okay,
The findings of fact.
yeah, I have no problem with that. Oh, I gotta find that. I'm gonna open up for public comment.
Go ahead.
We're gonna open up for public comment. There's no one here, but is there any remonstrances or anybody online? Jason, nobody? Okay. Remonsters? I can't
No.
speak anymore. No? Okay.
Um,
Public comment is closed.
Well, John, I'm going to make a motion to approve
thank you.
both the fact that it's a detached garage as well as the overall height as presented to the board this evening.
Do we, I'm bringing this up, isn't there a size too, the square footage, I think?
Well, square footage was at 789 square feet, and with what you have and what you're asking for, you don't exceed
But I
that
think,
square footage, correct?
I believe the square footage exceeds.
Yeah.
Oh, it does exceed that.
yeah, that's
Because
one of,
there are other garages,
Yeah.
other than this detached garage.
Oh, okay, I didn't think it did.
Listen,
Okay.
he's allowed, you said, how many square footage? I mean, so I guess overall, what's your square footage you have of your current garage?
I think this, when you add up the, both garages together, it's 1,900 square feet approximately.
1865, yep.
And I think we're allowed 1,600.
So we're going over by 300 square
Yeah.
feet.
I think that's one of the variants we
Yes.
asked.
Well, that doesn't tell us that here.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't say, it just says that's what you're looking for, and I thought we were at the point where it didn't, we didn't have an issue with that portion of it.
So there's three things he's looking for here, is what you're saying.
I believe that's correct.
Oversized garage, the height, and the fact that it's detached.
Correct.
All right, let's see here. Now you're changing me a little bit. 789. So on a 1 acre lot, he's allowed, on an over acre lot, he's allowed what square footage to the garage?
11,000,
1,100.
1,100, sorry.
Okay.
And there's an additional
basically this-
500.
So basically, this whole second garage is asking for more than what we allow.
No, he's only
Because
over
he's at,
by,
one's at 1,100 already,
We're-
and this one's at 789.
yeah, but that's what you're allowed another 500 because of the over.
That's what I was
over an
asking.
acre.
Okay, so that's what I was asking.
we're-
So I'm allowed 1,100 plus 500, so I'm allowed 1,600
square
total.
feet. Yeah.
Correct,
Okay.
yeah.
And he's at 1,900 square
Oh,
feet.
so he's looking for 300 more.
So he's asking for basically 300, close to 300 square feet more
Okay.
on this detached garage.
I mean,
With the size of the house, I don't think that
I
really
think-
makes a difference.
I don't think that's a problem for, I mean, that's not a problem for me, so I'm going to continue
Please.
as my motion to approve to allow for the oversized garage, as well as the fact that it's a detached garage, as well as the fact that it's, no height, the height restriction. I feel the approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or the general welfare of the community. The use and value of the adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good
Very
luck with
much.
your project.
I'm looking forward to it. I live down the
Yeah.
block. I live down the block from you, so I'm looking
Oh, great. Okay, nice.
Try to go public comment. We're done with that. I think we're adjourned.